What's up, guys? So today we're going to do a quick instructional video on how to build a better sprayer wand. You'll see this referred to as the DFW wand on the lawn forum. He's the guy that originally graciously wrote the tutorial on how to put this wand together, but we still get a lot of questions from time to time about the assembly of the wand. So I just kind of want to get all the parts laid out here on the table and show you how to put one together. All right, so we have all our parts out here on the table. Before we start assembling this and screwing things together, I just want to kind of quickly lay this out and how it's going to go, show you how it's going to go together. We're going to start on the hose end nearest the sprayer and work our way out to the tip. So on the back end where you're going to connect to the hose, we're going to use this brass 3/8 inch swivel barb. 3/8 because that's the size of the hose we're going to connect to. This comes with a small, almost translucent plastic gasket. So we're going to go ahead and stick that in there so we don't lose it. So that's going to go on the back end. The swivel is really nice. That's going to keep you from getting your hose twisted up while you're using it. So that's going to go back here on the back end. The next thing the next component is this brass handle with a rubber coating on it. That's going to screw directly into the swivel barb before the trigger assembly. So this is the trigger valve. This is the most expensive component of the wand, but it's a really nice valve. Should give you a lot of good years of service. So that's going to go next. We're going to screw that onto the handle. The next component is the wand itself. They make these in a few different lengths. We're going to use the 24-inch wand because that's a nice length. The next component that we're going to screw on to the end of the wand, we like to use a constant flow valve. You'll see these referred to as CF valves. This is a 21 PSI CF valve. It's really going to help you achieve uniform application by helping you maintain constant flow. Basically, this valve is not going to open until your system pressure reaches 21 PSI, and then it's going to help regulate down to 21 PSI on the top end. So it's really, like I said, going to help you achieve a uniform flow. So that's going to screw onto the end of the wand. Next downstream is this black T-jet nozzle body. That's going to screw onto the CF valve. And what this allows you to do is use these quick T-jet caps and gaskets with your nozzles. Allows you to install a nozzle. It's a quarter turn assembly. So makes changing nozzles real quick and easy. So if you want to change flows or change spray patterns, that's really easy to do. There's a black rubber gasket in here that's going to mate up to the CF valve. Inside the T-jet nozzle body, we're going to use a 50 mesh strainer. This particular strainer has a 5 PSI check valve built into it. A little bit of added insurance. The CF valve will help you prevent drips, but also this 5 PSI check valve strainer will further help prevent any drips from your nozzle. And that basically drops directly down into the to the T-jet nozzle body before you install your cap gasket and nozzle. And we'll talk about these different nozzles here shortly. So other things we're going to need to put these components together. I've got some Teflon thread tape we'll use to seal some of these joints. I'm just going to use a couple adjustable wrenches to put this together. It's really pretty simple. You're not going to over torque anything, so those will work fine. So let's get started. All right, so here we go. Like I said, we're going to start back here at the hose end with the swivel barb and the handle. I'm going to wrap thread tape around all the male threads throughout the assembly here. A little trick when you're installing your thread tape, if you're looking at the end of the male fitting, you want to wrap clockwise, and that'll prevent the tape from unraveling as you screw it into the other fitting. So we're going to install just a little bit of thread tape on all these fittings. This one, like I said, has a plastic gasket in there. It probably doesn't need it, but we're going to use a little bit for insurance. So we're going to thread the swivel barb onto the back of the handle. Use our adjustable wrenches to snug that up. So we don't want to over tighten. Okay, so now we have the swivel barb connected to the handle. We're going to wrap a little more thread tape on the other end of the handle. Again, like I said, when you're looking at the end of it, you want to wrap your Teflon tape clockwise so that it doesn't unravel, like so. Okay, and then we're going to screw the trigger valve assembly onto the handle. Snug that up. Next, we're going to put a little bit of thread tape on the end of the trigger valve assembly where it's going to screw in to the wand. So, you can do this a couple different ways. You can put your trigger up top or down low. I almost prefer it on the bottom, so we're going to keep that in mind as we line up the wand with the trigger valve. We're going to screw the it's a little bit tedious to make sure we get this lined up. There we go, that's much better. So you'll see the wand is laying flat with the trigger. So then the next component, we're going to put our CF valve on the end of the wand here. So we're just going to wrap a little bit of thread tape on all the male threads. Like so. And then we're going to just hand tighten the CF valve on the end of the wand. This is plastic, so you don't want to over tighten that. Okay, so next we're going to take the black T-jet nozzle body and screw it onto the end of the CF valve. Just a quick reminder, there is a black gasket in here. I don't want to damage it taking it out to show you. There it is. It's just a black rubber gasket. It's going to go down into the threaded portion of the T-jet nozzle body. We're going to seat that in the bottom before we screw this on. And again here, I'm just going to snug this up hand tight between the thread tape and the gasket. We shouldn't have to worry about any leaks. Okay, so that's basically the assembly of the wand. Next thing we're going to install is our nozzle of choice. We're going to use a quick T-jet cap. I got 3 different nozzles here we'll briefly talk about. That's the AIXR air induction. These are all 0.4 GPM nozzles. They're red. Air induction is great for, it's a coarse droplet. It's great for soil applied or systemic products. On the other end of the spectrum is an XR T-jet nozzle, which is a finer spray pattern, which is great for foliar products. And then in the middle would be a turbo T-jet, like a TT 11004. Droplet size, that's going to land in between the coarse droplets of the AIXR and the fine droplets on the XR. It's kind of going to be, it's a good crossover nozzle. There are a lot of great T-jet nozzles. It really comes down to personal preference, what you're spraying, under what conditions you're spraying. I like the red 04 nozzles. It gets me pretty close to 1 gallon per thousand, which I like. So that's kind of a brief rundown on nozzles. We could spend all day talking about nozzles, but we're here to talk about the wand. So before we put the nozzle on, we've got our 50 mesh 5 psi check valve strainer that's going to go into the end of the nozzle body. Your quick T-jet cap. This particular cap works with all 3 of these nozzles, so that's nice. It's got a rubber gasket. So let's install. We're going to stick the AIXR nozzle into the quick cap. You're going to put your black gasket in behind the nozzle, like so. And then, like I said, this quick cap is quarter turn onto the lugs of the nozzle body to lock that in place. You'll notice you may want to end up having to clock your nozzle body and or your CF valve to get the orientation you want with your nozzle. The way we've got this put together, if we're spraying, my fan pattern is going to be like this. If you're going to walk with it and spray in a wide fan pattern, we may want to take and clock these threaded components so that we get the pattern like this, where we're going to sweep left and right, to like this, where we're just going to walk forward, straight forward without using a sweeping motion. Personal preference, you know, you can debate that if you want, but that's basically it. That's how we assemble the better sprayer wand, the DFW wand, to quickly change your nozzle. Say you're spraying your pre-emergent with this AIXR, and you wanted to then spray a foliar contact herbicide. You just quarter turn this quick cap off. We're going to push the nozzle out with the gasket. We're going to drop the XR nozzle into the cap. Then we're going to put our gasket back in the cap, like so. Sure, like I said, that our check valve strainer didn't fall out, and then we're just going to quarter turn that back on. And there we go. So that's a quick rundown, like I said, on the DFW sprayer wand. There's I think the thread about this sprayer wand is over 20 pages long now. It's a great wand. A lot of people are using it. The CF valve really is a game changer. Probably one of the most important components if you're using a manual pump sprayer. If you're using a battery operated sprayer, those do a really good job of maintaining constant pressure for you. So I would be inclined, if you're using a battery sprayer, to maybe leave off the CF valve. I don't feel like that's probably a necessary component, again with a battery operated sprayer, because you know it's maintaining that pressure for you. Where the CF valve really shines is with a manual pump sprayer, where you know your pressure fluctuates depending on how hard you're pumping up the sprayer. So there we go. Like I said, if you have any questions, I'll link to the thread at the lawn forum about this wand. It lays out all the components there. I'll also provide links to all these components in the description below. So there we go. If you have any questions, hope you reach out to us, and we'll see you next time. All right, so one last thing. I already have one of these sprayer wands that I use on my sprayer, so I think we should just give this one away. If you're not a member of the lawn forum, this is a great excuse to go out there and join. A lot of great information there. Just amazed every day about the amount of collective knowledge that is shared among the membership over at the lawn forum. You got questions, you know, somebody's probably been through the same thing, can help you out, talk you through it. So really great place, really great community, and I encourage everybody to join. So with that, I think we'll sign off now. I'll provide, like I said, a link in the description to the DFW wand thread. It talks about, we got a bill of materials out there on how you can build this. I'll provide also links to all these components in the description below. And so we'll see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed this.